It's the 2012 NAB show, and we're talking about the great content shift really happening across the entire industry. I am Tyler Pyburn of the Pulse Network at thepulsenetwork.com. We're having a conversation with Robert Bell, Executive Director of the World Teleport Association. And Robert, you know, every conversation we've had up to this point it always comes full circle, and we always come back to the service providers. So kind of focusing on the shifting technologies, how has this really impacted the service providers at this point?
Well, the impact has been extremely positive, and everyone in the business expects it to become more positive going forward. Why? Well, one of them, in an interview I did for a piece of research published last year called Future TV and the Teleport, this gentleman put it very, very simply. He said, if we were covering a golf game, we used to provide a feed. Now we have to provide 15 feeds so that it can go to a connected TV and let consumers pick what shot they're looking at, so it can go to a second screen and provide additional camera angles. So just simple arithmetic says it's going to be positive. It's also positive because of the complexity level. And a service provider, if they're doing their job, is there to make complexity simpler for the customer. And so they're a great partner for a broadcaster who needs to do something. The other interesting thing about it, though, is that the entire broadcast chain has gotten bigger because now we have new players in it. And the only way that we're going to all get through this successfully is by really collaborating effectively with each other. One of the people I interviewed told me a story about covering a PGA golf tournament. And because of rain or some other conditions on the green, they ran out of their broadcast window. There was something that they couldn't preempt on Monday morning, and so they couldn't carry the finals on broadcast. Well, so the decision was made to carry those finals on the internet at the PGA's website, and the service provider I was talking to, who was responsible for carrying those feeds and getting them safely to where they were supposed to go, and the broadcaster and the I think it was Akamai, the background service provider, worked very, very hard through that weekend to get to the point where they could do the broadcast and the website wouldn't crash. And you know, the happy news was that come Monday morning they succeeded.
When you say they worked very, very hard, I'm sure that's just a major understatement for those guys, without a question. So the last thing you talked about, these guys collaborating. Talk about the importance of them doing so, the service providers with the broadcasters and this industry really working together so they are all in fact on the same page.
Well, they need to be on the same page. It couldn't be more important because as the broadcast chain or distribution chain becomes more and more complex and nobody can control it all anymore. Television has always been based on the idea that I own all the pieces or I have control over all the pieces, and therefore I can deliver a consistent high quality. Well, now that ship has sailed. So now we're in a position where the alternative is to have a set of partners and to collaborate very intensively with them so that everybody in the chain knows what their customer expects, everybody in the chain knows what the delivery point expects, and we can all work together on doing things better. The great challenge for all of us is to innovate fast enough and to innovate cost effectively enough, and we're only going to do that together. None of us is smart enough to do it alone, but together we can get there.
I love it. That is excellent. Here's Robert Bell, the Executive Director of the World Teleport Association. I am Tyler Pyburn of the Pulse Network. Another great conversation leading up to the 2012 NAB show.